Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and today is day 99 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on my writing. So, yay for day 99. One more day to go, and I'm all done. Woohoo! I'm just excited to finish a goal. Not, not that I'm going to be done writing. I may not write every day, but I'm not done writing because I have a lot of things to write, a lot of stories to write, a lot of things to learn about myself as I do my writing. Um, but I am grateful for my writing, and I am grateful for um, today, and I'm grateful that God gave me something to write about. And I had an interesting experience at work tonight, honestly, and it was I met some guy at work, and nothing's gonna come of that, obviously, but we had a conversation about relationships and ideas and things, and it all started about just something about him talking about being embarrassed, and I said, oh yeah, it's good to be embarrassed, just kind of give you an opportunity to learn to laugh at yourself and not take yourself so seriously. And um, he said that he hadn't heard that from a woman, and I was like, what, that I'm not always right? And I was like, of course I'm not always right. I'm not perfect. I am so far from perfect, and I am so well aware of that. But um, we just started talking about being real in a relationship, and you know recognizing that I'm responsible for my own happiness and someone else is responsible for his happiness, and that getting into a relationship isn't going to make me happy if I'm not already happy. It's not going to solve all of my problems by getting married or dating someone or doing any of those things, and I know that. And I'm not going to be able to fix all the problems or issues or whatever that the person I marry has. Um, but we all have issues. We all have problems. So avoiding relationships and avoiding marriage until I'm perfect is never going to happen, because then it means I will never be in a relationship again in my life. But it was really kind of flattering, because this man just kept telling me that he'd never had a conversation like this with another woman, and I think it was meant as a compliment. That's kind of how I was taking it. Because he dated women that always had to be right. They were always telling him what to do, and wanting him to fix things. And so it was kind of it was an interesting conversation, and I kind of wish that I could like get his number and talk to him some more, just because it was nice to have someone else that had the same ideals, I guess, as far as a relationship goes. And so then I started thinking about what I want in a future husband, and if I'm going to do this whole dating website thing that I signed up for and have ignored since, um, I'm going to start dating again at some point, maybe, hopefully. I'll think about it. It's one of those things that it's like I want, but I'm afraid of at the same time, where it's like you're looking forward to something like getting my books published, but I'm scared as to what the results are going to be and how it's going to turn out. And I don't know the outcome. I have to like just trust the process, and I just have to let go and let God take control, and let whatever happens. And I'm not very good at that. So going to be working on that. Just add that to my list of things to learn about myself, or to learn how to do differently. Anyway, that's so I remembered years ago in counseling, like before I got married and divorced and all of that fun, fabulous, crazy stuff. I was in counseling, and my counselor suggested that I write a letter to my future husband. So I was like, okay. And then, so I was thinking tonight, well, maybe it's time I write another letter, or maybe it's time I just make a list of what I want or what I expect in a future husband or future relationship. Just kind of put it out there and see what happens. And so I was debating whether or not to just write that, or if I should read what I wrote previously. So I decided to open up my laptop, and thankfully it was on my laptop and not my computer, because my computer is dead and I don't know how to get the stuff off of my computer. I think I need to get one of those backup drives and then take it to one of those computer expert people that might be able to figure out how to turn my computer on, and then they could get the data off of it and then give me the stored data, because the computer is just so old, it's just not going to work, and they'll just be used for parts or something. I don't know. I don't know. Mostly I want my pictures from my trip to Romania off of my computer. I don't really care about the rest of it, because I think the rest of it I moved to my laptop that had to do with my writing. Although there are some things that I remember writing. And again, I remember the basis, the outline, the plot, whatever, of stuff that I wrote. But I don't remember the word for word things that I wrote. And I don't know where it's at anymore. So, yeah. anyway, my writing style has changed a little bit in some things, and there is something that I wrote years ago in counseling as well that had something to do with like how I was feeling, and um, it might have related to stuff. It was more of an analogy scenario of my life that might have worked or related to something in recognizing God's hand in my life. Except that it was more of an analogy story than it was an actual, this is what happened to me. It was more um, trying to, a way to express how I was feeling without actually saying how I was feeling. I'm very good at that, I think. Very good at that. And all I remember is it had something to do with like feeling like I was up in the clouds and then like falling and crashing and like in a bunch of glass or trash and just being cut and bruised and everything else like that, and trying to pick out all the pieces and things like that and putting my life back together because it was all shattered. I wish I could remember the rest of it because I think it's really cool. It's really sad, but it's really cool. Just, anyway. I don't remember any of that, the rest of that, and I'm pretty sure that's on my old computer. So I may not ever be able to get that back. That's okay. It is what it is. I don't necessarily feel that way anymore. It's one of those things. I'm like, I remember writing something like that. I did that when I was like in college, and my mom's best friend, she was like a second mom to us down the street. She passed away from cancer, and I wrote a poem for her kids, like for her, that my mom sent to all of her kids. And I honestly don't remember anything I wrote in that poem. I would love to read it. I would love to have kept a copy of that. And I have no idea what happened to that, but I'm pretty sure it was on one of those old DOS prompt computers that don't even exist anymore. So, or it got saved on one of those floppy disks, if anybody remembers what a floppy disk is. And again, no idea what happened to that. It's just lost in the mists of time. I mean, one of her kids might have kept it or saved it or still have it somewhere. I don't know. I would have to ask. I haven't. I don't know if they still have it. I don't know. Anyway, that's, curse of my brain. I remember that I wrote things and I just don't remember what I wrote. So I decided to read my poem. See, I'm getting back to whatever. Read my letter. It wasn't a poem. It was a letter to my future husband. And I was surprised how little my wants or goals or whatever for a relationship, my ideas for a relationship have changed. Even after having been in a failed relationship, I read this and I was like, nope, that's pretty much still what I want. and then I was kind of like, why am I writing a list again? So instead of doing a letter thanking this future husband for having all the qualities that I want, I kind of I wrote it and I just kind of typed up my ideal relationship. And really in typing it up and thinking about it, my ideal relationship is really a lot of give and take. So I get all the things that I want, but I get to give back all the things that I'm asking for, because I'm not expecting to just get a not give in return. I've always been a person that's willing to give in return, and when I get a lot of things from people, I feel like I'm being very blessed and I want to give back. That's just who I am. That's my that's my nature. I want to give back. I want to do for the other person, but I don't want to keep giving to the point that I'm empty and not feeling like I'm getting anything in return, which has been my experience in past relationships where I'm willing to give and willing to do, and I even lose myself in the relationships, which I don't ever want to do again. I never want to lose myself in the relationship. So I want someone that's supportive of me and what I'm doing. Like my ex, when I told him I was writing and stuff like that, he's like, oh, that's really cool. He's like, I don't even like to read. I'm like, okay. The only thing he asked, like at one point, was if I journaled about like our honeymoon and stuff, and I'm like, I hadn't. I'm like, I can, I will, whatever. But because he knew I wrote in my journal, and that was about it. It was like a one-time thing. He mentioned that, and then he never talked about whether I was journaling or not again. He never talked about what I was writing. He never showed any interest in what I was doing after we got married. And I was like, that just all disappeared. So, I want another relationship where that doesn't disappear. Just get married. I want to be with someone that wants to be with me. Someone that I want to be with that wants to be with me. Not just some random person like, great, you want to be with me and I think you're creepy. No. I want to I want the mutual liking of each other and wanting to spend time with each other. I want it to be a mutual thing. I want it to be a give and take thing. I want it to be, a friendship, basically. Like, I want to have a basis of a friendship. I want to have someone that wants to spend the time with me, someone that, can help me work through my issues. I can help them work through theirs, or someone that I can at least, bounce ideas off of and say, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And get an opinion, like an honest opinion, but not a judgmental opinion, where it's like, okay, well, this is my opinion, this is my insight, and then kind of do your own thing. What do you want to do? Not, but I don't want someone that's like wishy-washy and has no opinion whatsoever. My older sister at one point dated a guy that was like that, and whatever my sister wanted, he wanted. Whatever she liked, he liked. And it was like, do you have an opinion? Do you care about anything? I'm like, and he just was totally dependent on my sister, and we're all looking at her like, why are you marrying this dude? But I mean, I guess if he agreed with everything that she did and she got, everything that she wanted out of it, I mean, why not? I'm grateful she didn't marry him. I don't think that would have been good for her, but that was her choice. Regrettably, I wasn't very supportive at the time. But I was young and dumb. Now I'm older. I'm not sure how much wiser I am at this point. But I'm more willing to let people live their lives and to love them in spite of whatever choices they make, whether I agree with them or not, because I'm not those people. And I don't know what is best for them. And they don't necessarily know what's best for me. So I'm trying to be more open and receptive of things. So, but it was just, to me, I think it was one of those God things, one of those blessings to see that there was some guy out there, some random stranger that I don't know and will probably never see again, that thought the same things that I did, that was surprised that there was a woman out there. He actually thanked me and said it was nice to know that there's good people out in the world when he left, because he's not around a lot of people like that, so he sees a lot of the negative and a lot of the abuse in relationships, or the one-sided relationships where one person takes all and the other person gives all, and so one person is always empty and depressed and waiting around to get something back from the person that's just like totally oblivious and just taking everything and thinking this is just how it's supposed to be. There's one person gives and one person takes. It's a go back and forth. It's not 50-50 or taking turns like a teeter-totter kind of a thing. And you have to, in a teeter-totter, one person goes up and one goes down, and you go back and forth, and you both have to kind of be standing in order for it to be completely equal. But I think in relationships, it's true of that. It's a teeter-totter thing, because one person is struggling and the other person is up, and sometimes you both feel like you're struggling, and then that's where God comes in. God comes in the middle and does all of the healing and helps to glue it together. It's the centerpiece, the balance. God is what balances us out and makes it work, puts us on an even plane with each other. And it's not meant to be one person above the other. We're supposed to be equals in everything. And it doesn't mean that we have to be good at the same things or like the same things, because I'm okay with someone liking something different, because it means I could, experience what they like. And I'm like, cool, I get to try something new because you like something different. I just want someone that's supportive of what I'm doing and encourages me to, continue my writing and my YouTube videos and, working on myself, and someone that I can, discover what they're doing, learn about what they're doing, and encourage them to do the same. And, we can have a relationship where we build each other up. We talk about each other. We tell each other, how wonderful we think the other person is. I watched one of those YouTube videos with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, and I don't even remember what it was, but there was something where she was like, they asked a question, and she answered more specifically about him than he did about her, and she's like, see, I won. And then he was like, oh, I love it when she wins. And I just thought that was the cutest thing. I'm like, I want that. Have someone that's okay with me winning, that lets me have those happy moments or loves to see me happy. I want what my Annie Jean and my Uncle Joy had. I've been so good not to say people's names, and it just popped out of my head. I'm so sorry. Sadly, they're both passed on at this point. But it was my grandma's sister, my great aunt, and my great uncle. And I just remember my great aunt having a a broken hip and she was in the hospital. And she also had like stage 4 cancer, and we went to go visit her, and we're asking her how she's doing, and they'd put her on the ground. They'd put the mattress on the ground so there was no bed frame. And I'm not entirely sure why they did that. I think it was to make it easier for her to get out of bed, and or to make it easier so that she was less likely to break something or something. I don't know. I don't remember the reasons. And then here's my uncle. He's like 90 something, and he's like old and frail. And he comes in and he kneels down next to the bed, and he still gives her a kiss on the lips, just a cute little kiss, and says hello and all of those things. And it was the sweetest thing to see him just come in spite his age and everything else, and to just get down and like to greet her and give her a little kiss, a little peck on the lips. And it was so cute. It was so sweet. And then my aunt to just not even be concerned about what she was in the hospital or what was going on. Just, how are you doing? What's going on in your life? How are you? And I want to be that kind of person that's like, how is everybody else doing, and not what's wrong with me kind of a person. And I want that kind of relationship where, in 80s, 90s years old, whatever it is, and my husband still comes and, wants to kiss me, wants to be with me. The just gentle, loving, sweet things. You see the sweet little old couples walking around with their holding hands, and I mean, they've been together like forever, and I'm like, I don't think that's too much to ask in a relationship. But I feel like the world today is they're so selfish. They're so focused on what they want, and so stubborn and set in their ways, especially like you get to my age and it's like, oh no, I need everything to be my way, this way. And it's an inconvenience to have to share life with someone else. Like my ex was that way. It was like, it was too much work to have to share things with me, and everything was his, and he wasn't willing to share. Like, you have to share in a relationship. You can't just take everything. So, I don't know. I don't know if I will ever find this relationship. I want a relationship that's perfect for me, but that's not perfect. I don't want a perfect person, because I'm not a perfect person, and that will never happen. And I'm aware of that. I just, I have good friends in my life. I have people that I can call and talk to, that I can totally be myself with, that I'm comfortable around. And I've had guy friends that are like that. And I was like, why can't I have someone like that I'm attracted to, that has the same religious beliefs, backgrounds, whatever, has the same ideals in life, and that we can somehow find each other, which I know is the whole point of the dating website. And this is why I need to actually pay the subscription price for it and actually go on there and start searching, going through all of the weeds until I actually find, the plant, the flower, the viable seed that can actually work. And I'm sure there's someone out there, and maybe they're looking for me, but I'm hiding. I'm very good at hiding. I'm like, let me just hide. But I know it's time for me to come out of hiding. I think this is God's way of telling me that I need to put myself out there, whether I feel like I'm ready to or not, because I'm not ever going to be perfect. I'm not going to find the perfect person, but I can find someone I can talk to, someone that I can share things with, and someone that will talk to me and share things with me, someone that I can have fun with, that I can enjoy new experiences with, what I can learn and grow and have new experiences with, because I do learn and grow from other people and from the experiences that I've had, and I would like to branch out and see what happens. So anyway, I'm just I know it's kind of rambly. It just really, it's just what, I think I want a relationship based in reality too, because I'm always daydreaming. I've created all of these stories because I didn't have any real relationships in my life. So it's all these ideals, and even the characters in my books, they argue, they fight, they have to work through things. That's how it works out in my head. And sometimes it works out between them, and sometimes it doesn't. It's just how it works in my head, because that's how it works in like real life. But I think I'm one of those people, like, who was it that, is it, I want to say Jane Austen, that wrote all of those romance books, and she was never married. Everybody wonders why she never got married. And I'm like, how could she write so much about love and be so accurate and never be married? And I was like, because you can watch everybody else and you can observe from the outside without having to be in the relationship. And then you can create what you wish would happen in your own life. And then the only problem with that is that you have this built up fantasy and this perfect way that it ends that you can control and do everything with. And it doesn't happen that way in reality. So you have to give up the fantasy, the book, the story, the movie ideal, and accept what's available in reality. But I don't think that means accepting unacceptable behavior. It doesn't mean being in an abusive relationship, whether it be verbally, emotionally, physically abusive, or even sexually abusive. Not sure I'm allowed to say that on YouTube videos, but anyway, it's one of those things that it's shouldn't be an abusive relationship, but it's not going to be a perfect storybook relationship. It's not going to be a movie. It can't get, life doesn't get resolved in, a 300-page book, or it doesn't get resolved in an hour and a half to 2 hour long movie. It doesn't even get resolved in like a, television series of whatever it is. Those are the ideals that people work towards, but that's not real life. And I'm aware of that. I know that. I know the difference, and I'm grateful that I can see the difference, and that I know that my life is not going to turn out like the stories in my head. It is so not turned out anything like the stories in my head. But I think whenever my life doesn't turn out or work out the way that I want it to or think that it should, that's when I go into my crazy little world and I create stories, or I relive stories, or jump into one of my characters in my head. And I'm kind of getting to this point in my life where I'm like, I want to experience my life and not imagine what it could be, but actually enjoy what it is. And it's going to be an interesting adventure trying to learn how to do that. And I also want to be able to write my stories because I want to share them with other people. I think they're entertaining. They've been entertaining me for years. I think it would be nice if they could entertain other people. It's also a way to let go of them, to clear out that clutter in my mind, to set myself free of those expectations, to allow myself to be open to new, other positive relationships or things that may come in the future. And I realize there's also the possibility that I may never find someone. I may never get married again. And I will just have to be happy with who I am and where I'm at and what I'm doing. And I am happy. I'm happy a lot more in my life now than I remember being. And I think sometimes I get so caught up in how I used to feel, or trying to sort out how I'm feeling, or trying to prevent myself from feeling or having bad things happen, that I've forgotten how to live in the present moment, assuming I ever actually knew how to live in the present moment. Because I know I've been making up stories since elementary school, and it was just always fun to me. I still remember being in 5th grade and learning creative writing, and that was like my most favorite class. And I'm sad that I didn't remember that and stick to that when I got into college. But I'm sure there was a timing and a reason for all of it, and God knows what that is. I don't. So I'm trying to go in a direction that makes me happy, that makes God happy, and that is, using the gifts and talents that God has given me. And I'm grateful for that. And I am trying to be open to the suggestions and the directions that God is pushing me towards. And maybe if I'm writing about what I want my ideal relationship to be, maybe that means I'm getting ready to have that kind of relationship. So I hope that I can find someone that I can have fun with and enjoy my life with. And if I do, great. And if not, I know that I still have a relationship with God, and I still have wonderful friends and wonderful family, adopted and biological both. And I am truly blessed. And I don't need to keep focusing on what I don't have. I just need to remember to be grateful for what I do have. And I'm learning to do that. I think I've gotten much better at it over the past several days. 100 days of gratitude, 99 days of, makes me want to sing that song, 99 bottles of beer on the wall, root beer on the wall, whatever it is, soda, whatever you want to, 99 something. Anyway, that's all I have for today. So if you like these videos, you can hit like, subscribe, share, write something in the comments if you have something you want to say. Hopefully positive something. Anyway, hope you have a great day full of gratitude and maybe do some writing.